The foundation of the Global Accelerator for Innovation Network was laid by a passionate entrepreneur, Mr. B.V. Naidu, former director, STPI, and a visionary, Dr. Krishna Mikelanini, former global CTO, Honeywell, in 2018. Since then, the game has successfully completed a couple of international cohorts in association with leading international partners for global immersion and access to India programs. The foundation of the Global Accelerator for Innovation Network was laid by a passionate entrepreneur, Mr. B.V. Naidu, former director, STPI, and a visionary, Dr. Krishna Mikelanini, former global CTO, Honeywell, in 2018. Since then, the game has successfully completed a couple of international cohorts in association with leading international partners for global immersion and access to India programs. The foundation of the Global Accelerator for Innovation Network was laid by a passionate entrepreneur, Mr. B.V. Naidu, former director, STPI, and a visionary, Dr. Krishna Mikelanini, former global CTO, Honeywell, in 2018. Since then, the game has successfully completed a couple of international cohorts in association with leading international partners for global immersion and access to India programs. The foundation of the Global Accelerator for Innovation Network was laid by a passionate entrepreneur, Mr. B.V. Naidu, former director, STPI, and a visionary, Dr. Krishna Mikelanini, former global CTO, Honeywell, in 2018. Since then, the game has successfully completed a couple of international cohorts in association with leading international partners for global immersion and access to India programs. The foundation of the Global Accelerator for Innovation Network was laid by a passionate entrepreneur, Mr. B.V. Naidu, former director, STPI, and a visionary, Dr. Krishna Mikelanini, former global CTO, Honeywell, in 2018. Since then, the game has successfully completed a couple of international cohorts in association with leading international partners for global immersion and access to India programs.
Hello everyone. As we are waiting for guest of honor to join, we will be starting in next 2 to 3 minutes. Kindly bear with us. Thank you so much.
The foundation of the Global Accelerator for Innovation Network was laid by a passionate entrepreneur, Mr. B.V. Naidu, former director, STPI, and a visionary, Dr. Krishna Mikelanini, former global CTO, Honeywell, in 2018. Since then, the game has successfully completed a couple of international cohorts in association with leading international partners for global immersion and access to India programs.
Good afternoon, all. Am I audible? Okay. Good afternoon, all. I'm Vidya Chaudhary, founder and CEO of Nvidia Labs, one of the portfolio companies of the Gain's first cohort. Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder and CEO, once said, I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying. Today is a day to celebrate the achievements of all those founders who have dared to take a step towards trying something new that others not. Let's look at a small video about the Gain.
Are you a startup who has endured tough times? In search of investors, corporate partners, and mentorship? Has your focus been taken off of your core product? With a population of 1.3 billion and a home to 39,000 plus startups, India hails as the third largest startup base. The Gain is a global accelerator whose focus is on innovative technology startups. Driven by the Indian entrepreneurial and engineering expertise coupled with access to global IPs, the Gain emerges as a leader to leverage global and domestic markets. We understand your needs and have curated offerings to solve your requirements. 1. Access to funding with pre-series investment, venture capitalist, and public funds. 2. Access to business with networking events, corporate connects, and international exhibitions and conferences. Market entry strategies, business model reviews, and business partnerships. And providing support services like co-working space, CXO services, legal and accounting support. 3. Access to active mentoring, supported by a network of 180 plus mentors who are technology specialists, domain experts, financial advisors, and successful entrepreneurs. With a key objective to product IPs, accelerate growth, and leverage global partnerships, we not only strive to bridge the gap between Indian startups and global networks, but also provide support to international startups through our Access to India, A2I program. We are pleased to partner with MeitY, Government of India, to support the startups and help them garner the tenacity to become future unicorns. What makes the Gain stand out? No equity dilution, no fee from the startups, global connections and collaborations, VC Connects, opportunity to be funded by in-house fund, Startup Exceed, collaboration with Mass Challenge USA and other global partners, and mentorship from experts. By fostering innovation and rapid business expansion, we help startups penetrate the market during its emergence or transformation phase with our innovative business models and go-to-market strategies. We at The Gain are happy to know more about your business. Let's connect and make the world a better place. The Gain is a Section 8 not-for-profit company.
The Gain, supported by the Ministry of Electronics and IT, MeitY, and MeitY Startup Hub, MSH, Government of India, has been a strong pillar in supporting the entrepreneurs in their journey of success, right from connecting to excellent experts, mentors, customers, and investors. Without further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Varadarajan Krishna, CEO of The Gain, for the welcome address.
Thank you so much, Vidya, for your kind introduction. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to you all. We are honored to have with us the chief guest, Sri Saurabh Saha, and the guest of honor, Sri Raman Ramanathan and Sri Dr. Ajay Garg. It's a momentous day for us, also the startups, as they graduate from our accelerator today. They are going on from our portals to take on bigger challenges globally. We at The Gain are privileged to have played a small role, but an important one, in helping them as they move their journey from a fledgling startup to a scaling one. Though you would have graduated today, we will continue to be associated with you and like to help you as you move forward in your journey. Here are some housekeeping rules as we move ahead. So the video will be made available. The investors that are already waiting to meet with the startups can do so in about half an hour. And they can meet with the concerned founders. Each one has their own rooms, and you can start your discussions with them. This will be made available as soon as the discussions and also the talks by the chief guest, the chief mentors, are already completed. Then you will be able to interact and continue your discussions till 5:30 this evening. Thank you so much. It's been a great privilege to have been associated in this journey. And now I hand it over to Sri B.V. Naidu, our chairman and founder of the GAIN, for his words. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to be part of this event, primarily because this is one event which we have been looking forward for the last 12 months, because our cohorts are coming out and we wanted to make sure that they'll get the right exposure to the investors. And also we did a lot of business connects to them and all that, we've been watching them growing as a part of our accelerator. Couple of words before we start. We take a lot of pride of as in India, where India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and we have been seeing the growth of year-on-year growth of in excess of 20% on the startups. And as of now, it is estimated as a 55,000 startups in India, and all of these companies together valuing around $315 billion. And not just that, these startups together raised around $70 billion from 2014 to 2020. This is an absolutely, great moment for all of us. And when the pandemic has so much of negative impact on the other businesses, unfortunately for startups, it has been, great. Even during the pandemic, the startups raised around $11 billion out of 924 deals. And the last 6-7 months itself, our startups raised around 6.5 billion in funding in April to the June 2021. So this is the kind of quarter-on-quarter growth what we are experiencing. And we are also proud that India has a number of accelerators, number of investors pool, and then a very more than 2,000 active investors. And we have seen around 700 acquisitions happening. So as an ecosystem, we are grown as an ecosystem, and government played a very similar role for the growth of this ecosystem. I've been interacting with the MeitY and Startup India, and both these organizations together are really influencing the growth of the startup ecosystem. Many times we always hear about the unicorns. India is proud to have around 53 unicorns, and we sitting in Karnataka, we always feel proud that the Bangalore has around probably 27, 28 unicorns out of the 53. That is the largest number. And Bangalore always, stands out, taking the probably 40% of the overall startup ecosystem in the country. When all these things are happening, the role of MeitY is, I should say, is commendable, because as a, thanks to Dr. Gaur here and Dr. Garg and Mr. Ramanan, as a part of the NITI Aayog, he played a absolute, effective role in supporting this overall ecosystem. And we all feel proud of that right now. Why the government support is so important. Government has been supporting a lot of academic institutions, creating the incubators and then accelerators. Now the time has come, government should look beyond these academic institutions and looking at these, looking at a practitioners accelerators, practitioners incubators, or a fund-supported accelerators, fund-supported incubators. They can play a much larger role. As an experiment, the government has funded the GAIN. GAIN is not part of any academic institutions, but we call ourselves as the practitioners accelerators, because the GAIN as an organization, not-for-profit organization supporting the pre-seed companies, and you will come to hear about them. We also have a Startup Exceed as a seed fund as a part of our ecosystem. So we are looking at an opportunity where our startups who are going through their accelerator not only get exposure to the other investors, we also have our own in-house fund. More than all that, the GAIN has been exceedingly doing well in terms of creating GAIN his own global partner network. We have the partner network right from Australia to the Korea to the European nations, and also the US. And this is the partner network which has really helped us in connecting our cohorts to the global community. For example, there is a FinTech companies are there, we expose them to Australian market, and immediately many of those companies got benefited by the Australian market. Likewise, we did expose them to the US markets and Europe markets, depending on whether the company is related to the FinTech, company related to the Industry 4.0, like that, So we reached, as a GAIN, did a humble beginning few years back, and we reached to the level that we are proud that we have a absolute global reach in terms of our partner network, and also we have a history in supporting the cohort 22 cohorts as a part of these two cohorts, 22 companies. And not just that, in the past also we did support around 11 Indian companies and around 20 Korean companies as well. That way, as the name stands, a global accelerator for innovation network. So that means we are focusing on innovation coming out of India. We are looking at a global access for our innovating companies. That way, the GAIN is putting its own, humble support to this ecosystem. And thanks to Dr. Garg, thanks to Dr. Gaur for the kind of support that they extended from MeitY, and it has reached. Because in the entrepreneurial pyramid, the unicorns, anyway, they'll become unicorns. They don't need the support of accelerators. They don't need the support of the governments. Who needs? The support is required. I normally call them as a bottom of the pyramid entrepreneurs, where they take the support of the incubators, take the support of accelerators, then they go to the level of getting funded, and thereby getting a global access. That's where the role of accelerators like ours, role of the government, and MSH program coming from MeitY. So put together, it's a nice experience, and all the best for our cohort companies and who are getting exposed to the investor community. And we'll continue to support these companies, not just even after completing the graduation day, we'll continue to support these cohorts. And our goal is to make sure that none of these companies would fail in their journey for next few years. We'll make sure we'll engage with them, make sure they go to the next level where some fund, some investments come to them, then probably we'll release our hand after that. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your thoughts-provoking insights. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Saurabh Gaur, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India, an IAS officer with nearly 2 decades of experience working in diversified departments such as Tribal Development and Welfare, Disaster Management and Recovery, Deputy Commissioner and District Magistrate, Housing and Urban Affairs, Health and Family Welfare, Commerce and Industry. He received the Prime Minister's Award for Implementation of the Rural Employment Scheme, Governor's Commendation for Disaster Management and Recovery for Efficient Handling of Cyclone Falun in 2013 by making it a zero casualty event despite being a Category 4 cyclone, and many such achievements to his credit. Under his aegis, MeitY is launching newer programs for the benefit of the startup ecosystem. Due to some emergency, he is unable to join us today. It's my absolute privilege to introduce Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan, former first mission director of Atal Innovation Mission, a visionary leader with over 40 years of experience in techno-managerial position and a taskmaster. As the mission director, his contribution to the entrepreneur ecosystem was immense, as he thought of raising the DNA of innovation and entrepreneurship from school children to professional students to startup founders aspiring to build companies. Atal Tinkering Lab is his brainchild that fosters grassroots entrepreneurship across the country. It's an absolute pleasure and privilege to have you with us today, sir. I kindly request Mr. Ramanan, guest of honor, to address the gathering.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the generous introduction, Vidya, and good afternoon to everybody who is logged onto the call. My particular thanks to both Dr. Naidu as well as Varada for having invited me for this particular function, which I think is very important, and it is the beginning of your innovation journey from a startup to a potential unicorn or a large company. A multinational company operating across global horizons. Indeed, before I start, let me wish and pray that all of you are hale and hearty in spite of these very difficult COVID-19 circumstances, and that all of you are following the safeguards advocated by your local institution, your local health authorities, and by the local government. We are indeed living in a watershed moment in our history. India has 1.3 billion people. We have more than 65% of our country under 35 years old. We are among the youngest countries in the world. We are the envy of many a country because of this tremendous youthful energy that is coursing through the nation and which can have the power to transform not just individual lives, but the lives of the people around us, to the society around us, to our country, to our nation, and more importantly, to the world. And you, my dear innovators who have joined the cohort 2, as I understand, and there have been 2 cohorts, you who are already on the path of path-breaking innovation that is going to make impact, not only for societal good, but for the economic prosperity of the country. Let me begin by congratulating you for having chosen this path. It is not an easy path for people to choose. After all, a startups world is a world that has traditionally been known as a risky world, a world where you take the plunge, you hope and you believe that you can succeed. And that is extremely important. You need that courage to be able to take a plunge into the world of startups and entrepreneurship. But no other time in the history of our world or in the history of India has startup and entrepreneurship been the need of the day. So you are taking the right step. You are indeed taking and capitalizing upon this golden opportunity that is presenting itself in spite of the COVID-19 circumstances to make a difference, not only to yourself, but to society. Like I said, we are a very large country, but more importantly, we are a country which is one of the fastest growing economies of the world. We have been growing at 6 to 8% every year, barring the COVID-19 year, and we have the potential to grow at 8 to 10%. We are a country where we are experiencing the benefits of technology to its hilt. Technology has become affordable, accessible, available, and advanced. So as a result of which, we are now able to reimagine the world with new innovations for problems that already exist or problems that have not been solved efficiently. In both the cases, we have the opportunity to address a huge demand. The Honorable Prime Minister, in his address to the entire nation on Atmanirbhar Bharat, said that there are 5 pillars upon which the whole of India's Atmanirbhar Bharat stands. First is the pillar of the demographic dividend. We have 1.3 billion people, but we have 1.4 million schools. We have 10,500 engineering and related institutions. We have over 39,000 colleges, and we have 150 million young students who are entering into the workplace. If we don't empower these young students with the power of tools and technologies and the opportunity for them to become innovators and job creators of the future, then we would be doing our nation a disservice. And that is why you see in the last year and the last couple of years, education has taken on a new meaning, and EdTech startups are doing tremendously well. In a COVID-19 year, we have had more than 4 EdTech startups come and become unicorns. Now, is that surprising? No, because our country needs it. We have a demand, and that goes on to the next pillar, the pillar of demand. A country of 1.3 billion people spread over 715 districts, over 650,000 villages, over 8,000 small towns and cities has tremendous demand. We need to fulfill this demand through solutions and through entrepreneurs like you. If you don't fulfill that demand, you're going to have many countries across the world who are flocking to India to address that demand, capitalize on that demand. So that is an opportunity right in front of you to be able to seize this demand and convert it, and convert the challenges that our country faces and convert them into opportunities that become entrepreneurial organizations. And that is what you have set out to do. The third is the pillar of infrastructure, as the Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned. We have 650,000 villages, we have 8,000 small towns and cities, but we have only 8 tier 1 cities. Now, 8 tier 1 cities is not going to be good enough for our country, all our people from the 8,000 small towns and cities to migrate to these 8 tier 1 cities. That's not a sustainable proposition either for India or for the world. So we need smart infrastructure, we need smart villages, we need smart districts, we need smart cities, we need smart classrooms, we need smart offices, smart housing. Now, how do you make all this smart? We make them smart by leveraging technology. Technologies like 3D printing, robotics, IoT, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, or artificial intelligence. These all are going into creating our smart infrastructure. And when you have smart infrastructure, coupled with digital infrastructure, the world becomes your stage. You are able to market products from Jodhpur to Japan, from Salem to Seattle, or from Sikkim to San Francisco. There is no end to your potential of being able to reach your product or your service to the other end of the globe. So when you have smart infrastructure coupled with digital infrastructure, which is what India has been focusing on, you, my dear young innovators, have a tremendous opportunity, whether it is in FinTech, whether it is in AgriTech, whether it is in EduTech, whether it is in healthcare, or whether it is in manufacturing or IR 4.0. These are all the areas that demands and requires technology to be integrated into your business solution and to be able to reach any part of the world. And then comes the pillar of socio-economic progress. We need to be able to bridge the socio-economic divide that our country has, the digital divide, the divide between the haves and the have-nots. Even though we are one of the fastest growing economies of the world, and even though we are one of the youngest countries of the world, we still have 22% of our country below the poverty line. We have 44% of our country agri-economy based. We have 115 of our 715 districts as aspirational districts because they are at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of basic access to healthcare, education, clean drinking water, sanitation, waste management. So what we need is entrepreneurs like you and innovators like you to be able to be supported and to be able to accelerate your current status into that of a company that can stand on its own legs, that has the necessary funding, that has the necessary technology, that has the necessary product and services, and that has the capability to reach across to the global markets, as Dr. Naidu so eloquently said. So we have gained here, supported by MeitY and supported by many other government schemes, Startup India, Exceed Fund, and so on and so forth, which have been giving a great boost. Because what we need in India is to create that vibrant ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship, spreading the length and breadth of our country. And this is why the Atal Innovation Mission, which I was very fortunate and privileged to be part of over the last 4 years, and which was just set up 4 years ago, has created a series of initiatives by which you are not only spurring innovation, which is important. You need to create a culture of innovation in our country, a culture of problem solving and innovative thinking, which unfortunately our rote learning has prevented us. But anyway, rote learning has had its place, and we have grown $190 billion ITS industry, of which Dr. Naidu himself has been a part of and through the STPI initiatives that he was championing. And I have had the opportunity of working through TCS and organizations like TCS and CMC. So that has served us well. But what has brought us here is not going to take us further. What is going to take us further is the world of startups and innovators and entrepreneurs. And that is what you all have set out to do. And that is why the government has launched thousands of Atal Tinkering Labs at the school level, 10,000 tinkering labs, so that we spur the spirit of innovation in our young students. And we have set up hundreds of incubators at a university level so that we are fostering world-class startups. You need world-class incubators to foster world-class startups. You need world-class accelerators to accelerate an angel-funded startup into a startup that can stand on its own leg and find its own sources of revenue. So you need to be able to create that, and that is why you have accelerators like GAIN and you have incubators like Atal Incubators spread across the country. What has been very heartening to me in this journey that of innovation and entrepreneurship that I had embarked upon is that out of the 75 incubators that got implemented in just 3 years, we had 2,200 startups come out of that ecosystem. And more than 680 women-led startups have come out of it. Now, that's an important number because it is 33% of the startups that have emanated from the Atal Innovation Mission system, whereas the average for the country is only 13% women-led entrepreneurs. We have a very big job in being able to encourage our women entrepreneurs and women leaders to become startup creators because technology is a great leveler. In our Atal Tinkering Labs, in the Atal Tinkering Marathon that we ran last year, where more than 50,000 students participated and 8,000 innovations got created, and more than 200 top innovations were selected, we had 45% winners as girl students. Now, isn't that an amazing thing that we are now being able to, because of technology and because of the support that these initiatives are providing, we are able to spawn an entire new generation of women entrepreneurs, which is so much needed for the progress of our country. And we need to ensure that all your innovation gets implemented in tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural India. That is also as important as anything else. If we are not able to do that, we are not able to bring the benefits of the innovation to the rural masses, to the tier 2, tier 3 districts, to our hilly coastal districts. We need to create 8,000 hubs of innovation and job creation from our 8,000 small towns and cities, not just 8 tier 1 cities. And that, my dear students or my entrepreneurs who are all there, that is the opportunity in front of you. And I'm very, very happy that MeitY, GAIN, as well as the Startup Hub and Startup India have all collaborated together to be able to bring to bear your ability to the forefront. What you'll be doing over the next few days is showcasing your product and your solution to maybe VCs and potential VCs for them to be able to fund you. But I would like to just conclude by saying, look at the word startup. A startup succeeds when everything is there in the word startup. Number one, the S stands for a great solution. You need to have a great solution, a solution that is unique, solving unique problems that our country faces or you see a problem around you, and a solution that can scale to make societal impact. That's what the S stands for. The T stands for technology, leveraging technology to the hilt, because technology is going to provide a unique differentiator for you, and you need to ensure that that technology get interwoven into your solution, or you use technology for reaching your solution to the most distant parts of the globe. The A stands for agility. Startups will succeed only when there is agility. So you have ability, obviously, that's why you have created a product. But how do you bring agility into the picture? And how do you convert that? To implement that agility, you need an action plan. And implementing an action plan, a monitorable action plan, will ensure that you achieve your desirable goals and milestones and so on. So that has to be a process of tremendous agility. Competitiveness is the name of the game. Before you realize it, there would be another startup exactly doing the same thing that you're doing and probably doing it faster. So agility is very important. The R stands for re-engineering and reiterating. Today you are having iPhone 13, which has been launched. I mean, it's a single product, started off in 2008, and even now you are still having the iPhone dominating the market and creating one of the largest companies of the world. That's because they continuously re-engineer, reiterate, refine, and improve and reimagine that same product and see how it can meet the customer expectations or exceed customer expectations. The T in the startup, again, the second T stands for a team. Build yourself and surround yourself with some of the best people who are passionate, as committed by you, but who complement you in every way. Don't try to be the person who will solve all the problems. You may be an expert idea generator, but you may not be the expert technologist, or you may not be the expert finance person, or you may not be the expert IT person. So you need the right type of people around you and build a great team, and that team normally goes to succeed, make a startup succeed. The U stands for uniqueness. Bring uniqueness in your approach. If you don't have uniqueness, if you don't have differentiators, if you don't have things that make a difference between, and uniqueness is not just in the product, it is uniqueness in your marketing approach, in your communications approach, in your IT approach, in your support approach, in your customer acquisition approach. You need uniqueness in all of that. So that means you have to constantly think, you constantly strategize, and that is how you will be able to succeed. And finally, the P stands for persistence. In a startup world, there is no word called fail. It only means first attempt in learning. This was what the great Abdul Kalam said, not me. And so if you treat every initiative that you have and every up and down that you get, either success or the first attempt to fail, first attempt in learning, you are going to succeed. And therefore, there will be only success along the way. And finally, the S in the startups stands for societal impact. Make sure that you are creating solutions which are sustainable. You know, we have sustainable development goals that is becoming so very important. We have problems like COVID-19, we have problems like climate change. And if you are adding to the problem, your startup is not going to succeed in the long run. So make sure that you create sustainable solutions for societal impact. I'm sure, as the great Abdul Kalam said, you all can dream big and you will achieve it. But in order to dream big, we should ensure that we also back it up with tremendous belief in yourself, self-belief in yourself. As the great Swami Vivekananda said, if you have a belief in 1,000 gods and goddesses, but do not have belief in yourself, you're doomed. So please have tremendous belief in yourself. Yes, I can, you should say, like Obama said, and he went on to become the first Black president of the United States. Yes, you can, and your startup will become a great success. And finally, as the great Swami Vivekananda said, let us all arise, awake, and stop not till our goals are reached. So arise to the challenges, but more important, the opportunities that India provides and the world provides for you. Awaken from within you that talent, that energy, that creativity that has always been there within you, but which has not been allowed to express itself because of various compulsions that you may have had. And stop not till your personal goals, till your family's goals, to your startup goals, and to the country's goals and the global goals are reached. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts on this particular occasion.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational words of wisdom. With the foundation laid by you and the continued guidance for the startup ecosystem, we are inspired by your leadership to take innovation and entrepreneurship to the next level. And as you mentioned, technology is very powerful if leveraged in the right way and made universally accessible. It will connect the world while harnessing the opportunities for the digital age to benefit everyone. So we startups are trying hard to serve innovative solutions to the country and make India Atmanirbhar. We are very proud to make Indian products, so keep us motivated like this. We are thankful to the Startup India ecosystem, government, mentors, fellow entrepreneurship to teach us a lot of learning in this ongoing journey. Sir, I now would like to seek your permission to go ahead with the graduation ceremony of cohort 1 and 2.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. In cohort 1, we supported 6 health tech and 6 edutech startups. And in cohort 2, we supported 5 FinTech, 3 AgriTech, and 4 Industry 4.0 startups. Starting with cohort 1, healthcare startups, Arogya AI, rapidly and comprehensively diagnosing drug-resistant infections, WRT-TB, so that patients are prescribed effective medication. Ayurveda, a wellness platform based on Ayurvedic principles that recommends personalized lifestyle plan using 30 seconds, phone camera-based pulse diagnosis test. Bionic Hope Private Limited. Drippy is an affordable prosthetic hand that is quick to learn and easy to use. HEMAC Healthcare Private Limited. HEMAC Healthcare vision is to address the neglected needs in the field of neonatology. Our solutions are focused on zero separations. Lucent Rich Bio. Lucent Rich Bio is changing the healthcare paradigm by developing products around the microbiome. Pacify Medical Technology Private Limited. They are developing skin spray gun, which sprays skin tissue on the wounds, helping wounds to heal faster. Moving on to the edutech startups of cohort 1. AVIDIA Labs. AVIDIA Labs offers SaaS and web-based K-12 interactive coding platform, QuickXR, that enables students to develop lifelong problem-solving coding skills in 3D, augmented reality, virtual reality, to create, explore, and collaborate on animations, games, applications, music, robots, drones, smart devices, and virtual worlds. Extra Edge. data science powered admissions and marketing automation for the education industry. Horizon Tech, the only AI-based real-time educational accreditation product with 100 plus B2B SaaS customers, global market, and potent. Japanemi Private Limited, the AI-assisted digital assessment platform for the holistic performance improvement of the students and teachers in the school community. MakerInMe Technology Private Limited. They offer a complete technology solution for STEM education in K-12. They have reached hundreds of schools and labs with more than 60 plus partners. SCARS. They are an AI-powered platform offering pre-validated technical resources on demand for recruiters and organizations. Moving now to cohort 2 startups, starting from FinTech startups. Heza Enterprise, last mile connection for buy, sell, payments, and collections for rural markets. Invest Solutions, redefining insurance landscape with advanced core applications. Fairex Solution, Fairex Paycom is a global B2B cross-border payments aggregator platform, enabling businesses save 3 to 7% on all the intercompany payroll vendors payment in real time. Nearby Technology, Pay Nearby is a hyper-local network that extends financial services to previously underserved or entirely unserved individuals in some of the India's remotest neighborhoods and communities. What's Loan FinTech? Digital financially identity and platform for paperless digital instant onboarding of BFSI customers. Now moving on to AgriTech startups. Pytrika Biosystems, creating a genome-phenome mapping platform that will help in trait selection and productivity increase. ClickChain, blockchain leverage decentralized network to raise capital directly from buyers to farm produce. World, improving farmers' income and also reducing warehouse financial frauds using blockchain. Moving now with Industry 4.0 startups, Doppelio. Doppelio is an IoT test automation platform for testing IoT apps without depending on physical devices. Exact Space Technology, AI solution that uses plant asset data to provide predictive insights for troubleshooting issues remotely. Live and Sense Technology provides higher efficiency, enhanced value, and predictive safety to manufacturing users, enabling predictable outcomes with an AI-led platform through its flagship IoT and AI platform. Minto Softtech. Minto AI provides a smart real-time condition monitoring platform that comes with an intelligent IoT device and a web mobile app interface. Thank you all. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Ajay Garg, Senior Director, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India, a thought leader and trusted business growth strategist, having expertise in driving and articulating a vision, delivering strategic innovation, commercial stewardship to building robust administrative and operational systems, setting the organizational rhythm, strategic planning, business process improvements, and ensuring compliances to local and global regulations and policies, serving in the capacity of Senior Director in Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, backed by a rich and prolific career journey of 25 years in the various administrative accountabilities, imbibe the strong ethos of IITs as a research scholar. We are very happy to have you today, sir. I now invite Mr. Ajay Garg, Director and Scientist of MeitY, Government of India, to share his remarks.
Thank you, Vidya. And let me to Shri B.V. Naidu ji, Dr. Ramanan, Shri Krishna ji, very good afternoon and congratulations for having lived a very a journey that had challenges on both the sides. At one side, you had the government and the other side, you had the startups. So it was a very, very challenging task to accomplish this. And I must congratulate GAIN to have accomplished this first cohort successfully with the government. I think with a vision or a thought leader like Ramananji on the platform, it will not be very apt to talk about a vision of a startup ecosystem. And he is far beyond what I can talk about. But anyway, I'll try to do justice in a few minutes that I want to take. congratulations for a graduation from a very, very important platform. You had been great product innovators, but now you are in the process of being the market leaders with these innovative products. That's what an accelerator gives. That's what GAIN gives. And I think that's a very, very important landmark to have achieved in your journey towards bringing success to yourself, and in turn, bringing a socio-economic success to the nation as such. So it's a very important journey. It's a very important journey for India to be self-reliant in technology as well as in the product space. And I congratulate you once more to all the great innovators, all the startups who have graduated from this cohort. India has, as Naidu Sahab and Ramanan have had a very successful journey during the COVID period. Two very landmark achievements that India had, in spite of the great crisis which the pandemic has thrown. One is the evolution of a very strong startup ecosystem in spite of all the challenges. And second, the stock market kept growing in spite of all economic challenges. So these are two of the very important successes that we can see from this crisis. And we need now, the time has come that we need to leverage this success into a social and economic impact on the ground. The Indian startups not only make great innovative products, but the thing they actually excel is that how to touch the bottom of the pyramid. How Indians make low-cost, robust, strong solutions touching the lives of people. And that's the hallmark of Indian startup story. And that's where the opportunity space lies. Touching the lives of the people or innovation for people cannot happen in the Silicon Valley. It can only happen in India because we know the problems, we know the challenges, and we know the solutions as well. So I think Krishnaji, you have chosen the right moment to land in the place that will make the next wave of innovation. You lived your journey in the Silicon Valley. Now is the time for India or Bangalore as such. So you are at the Silicon Valley 2.0. So Indian start, but what we need today is to change the mindset with regard to how do we see markets. And we not only have to see global market, but we have to see internally to create market. We have to need to change the government mindset that they start procuring new innovation rather than manufacturing them in their own PSUs. We need to look at that how the corporates connect with the startup ecosystem and see that their future journey to growth is the startup ecosystem and not what they are doing internally. These are some of the few challenges that we need to address when we are living through this startup journey. And I know the GAIN has been playing this enabling role for all this to happen. And this has been the reason that acceleration journey has been taught to India by early starters like GAINs and few others. I don't know if there have few others, but Naidu Sahab will tell me that. So congratulate once more. You have got a good start to your growth journey. And I want to see each of you becoming a unicorn for tomorrow. And that's the dream I have. And that's the dream you all have. And I know that. Thank you once more.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words of inspiration. I now invite Mr. S.R. Sudhir from the GAIN, who was instrumental in supporting Cohort 1 and Cohort 2 startups, to share the vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. I feel honored and privileged to get an opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this graduation ceremony come Demo Day of StartupToScaleup Acceleration Program of the GAIN, supported by Ministry of Electronics and IT and MeitY Startup Hub, Government of India. A special thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Saurabh Gaur, because of some emergency reasons, so he couldn't be with us today. We surely seek his guidance and continued support. We have been very fortunate enough to have Mr. Ramanan, sir, former first mission director, Atal Innovation Mission, today as our guest of honor. Thank you so much, sir, for spending your invaluable time with us amidst your busy schedule. Your words of wisdom really inspired us, and we seek your continued support. So our deepest regards to Dr. Ajay Garg for being a constant source of inspiration during the program. A huge thank you to you and the entire team at MeitY and MSH, including Dr. Nalin Srivastav, Anurag Kumar, Itender, Aruna Yadav, Simran, Kushbu, for all the support extended to us tirelessly. A huge thanks to all the startups of both the cohorts for choosing to partner with us in their journey. We wish you all success in your journey of entrepreneurship, and we will be more than happy to support you further as our alumni entrepreneurs in the best possible manner. I wholeheartedly would like to thank all the investors, corporates, market access partners, press, and facilitators who took sessions for our startups in these two cohorts, domain experts and mentors who spent a substantial amount of time supporting our startups with their expertise, experience, and network. It means a lot to us. We would like to thank especially a special thanks to our all international partners like Mass Challenge USA, Innovo from USA, OneLens from Australia, CBA Ventures from South Korea, Excel.Dots from Sweden, and all our Indian partners, TiE Bangalore, Mergerdomo, Startup Rosso, My Startup Yatra, Car Startup Labs, GTU, GISC, Startup Karnataka, and Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. Thanks to our technology partners of this event, Crowd Product team led by Mr. Vinay Dora, digital marketing team, Fable Square led by Mangala Karnad for supporting us to reach you all in a short time. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our chairman and managing director, Mr. B.V. Naidu, co-founder and board member, Mr. Krishna Mekiraneni, co-founder and CEO, Mr. Varadarajan Krishna, for trusting me to lead the program and support startups in both the cohorts. I must mention the efforts put in by Carl Ebenezer, who takes care of open innovation, investor relations, and partnerships, and Raghuveer, who takes care of marketing and business operations, to make sure the demo day is done in a best possible manner. And Joshiga R, who is our research intern. I would like to remember the leadership of Mr. Vivek Saxena, our former CEO, Pratham, who took care of digital marketing, Rasagna, who took care of research, Jasmine, who took care of international relations. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the entire team at Startup Exceed and Sagittar Ventures who stood with us as a strong pillar of support at all times. Thank you so much for that. Once again, I would like to thank each and all of you here and wish everyone a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhir. Here are a few announcements for the audience. As we have already opened the freewheeling demo day, please scroll down and you will be able to see the video pitches of all the startups. This is just to give a glimpse of all our portfolio startups. If you want to take a deep dive with the startups of your interest, please feel free to connect with the entrepreneurs either through the one-on-one interaction by clicking on the Zoom link mentioned below the description of the startup. This will redirect you to the external Zoom platform and you can choose the breakout room of that startup to interact with the team. To connect with different startups, please come back to the main window on Crowd platform. This way, you will be able to navigate to the breakout rooms of different startups. Alternatively, if you are pressed for time and unable to connect with entrepreneurs, you can also leave your contact details and your feedbacks in the main window on the Crowd platform, or connect with the GAIN team. We will reach out to you after the event and take the discussion forward with the startups. Demo day will go on till 5:30 p.m. and we request you all to spend time with our startups and support them. In order to assist you with the platform navigation and any support required, we have this help desk here and you can reach out to us. We will be happy to help you. Thank you all for this opportunity. This is Vidya Chaudhary, founder and CEO of NVIDIA Labs.